Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you my makeup eyeshadow palette collection, and I'm so excited to do this. I did a video about this like 8 months or so ago, but it was the worst video in the entire world, and I promise this will be like so much better. So please make sure to stick around and give this video a watch if you want to see my eyeshadow palettes. And without further ado, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe if you're not a muggle. Now let's get avenging this eyeshadow palette collection video. Alright you guys, so my eyeshadow palettes are all in this little section underneath my desk here. And this is what we'll be going through. We'll be going through them one cubby at a time, because there's 4 cubbies. We'll be going through them one cubby at a time because I have them like kind of like laid out in brands. And also I have eyeshadow palettes in one of these drawers. Yes, so I'll be showing you eyeshadow palettes. I have like the small ones as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm going to do first the mini eyeshadow palettes that I keep in my drawers that I don't like to keep on my shelves. So this is what we got going on. There's only a few in this section, and I won't be decluttering anything in this video because this is just an eyeshadow palette collection video. I don't want to get rid of any of my eyeshadow palettes, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started with like the minis that were in my drawer. So alright, the first 2 eyeshadow palettes I have here is Fit for a Queen palette and Mythical Creatures palette. I bought this with the Wet n Wild like dragon collection, and I thought these were so cute because it kind of reminded me of Game of Thrones, so I had to have this. And as you can see, this one over here is like a tad bit broken, but these are really cute small palettes, especially for travel. The next 3 palettes I have here are also from Wet n Wild. They're from the Rose collection, and we have Bed of Roses, Secret Garden, Rendezvous, and House of Thorns. And I thought these were also really pretty, so yeah, I have these in my collection as well. Next, I have the 2 palettes from Patrick Starr's collaboration with MAC. And this one here, I believe I got this at TJ Maxx, and this one here, I got this at the MAC store in New York City. I don't believe MAC has these anymore, but I'm not positive. This is the Play With Me one, and this is Heat Stroke. I personally like Heat Stroke better, but I really like both of them. But I'm not sure if these are still available that you can get them, but I'll make sure to link it in the description below if they are. The next palette I have is a palette from Gigi Hadid and Maybelline. I believe that I got this one at Walmart. This palette right here is so beautiful. I love the rainbow in it. This palette is from Tarte and Jessie Page, and I absolutely love this. I also forgot to mention I ordered this from Tarte's website whenever I saw Jessie Page collabed with them, and it is called the Let It Rainbow eyeshadow palette. This next palette here is from Smashbox, and it's the Canyon eye palette, I believe. And I got this one at Ulta Beauty. I got it in a set with a lipstick from Smashbox for like $7 or $8, and I was really happy with that. These shades are so stunning, and this is perfect for travel. And I absolutely love the front cover of it. It's so pretty. Look at that. Just look. And I believe this is called the Canyon Eye Palette. Now let's begin the cubbies under the desk filled with eyeshadows. I'm going to start in this cubby and work my way down to that one. So let's get to it. Alright guys, here are the palettes from the first section of my eyeshadow palettes. Now let's get to these. Alright, the first palette that I have from the first section of my shelves here is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the Nirvana Volume 1 palette, and I literally love this palette. I'm happy that I paid like $65 or whatever I paid on it. I usually don't pay that much for a palette, but I'm really happy that I decided to do that for this one because I love this palette. It's a really good purple palette, and I think all the colors are stunning in it, and I love the packaging. Staying with Anastasia, this palette is the Soft Glam palette, and I believe that I purchased this on Macari or something, I believe, or Poshmark, one of the few, but this palette is a really nice neutral palette, and you can't go wrong with a nice neutral palette. And I also forgot to mention I got the Nirvana palette off of Anastasia's website, and I absolutely love the packaging. It's so soft. Alright, the next palette I have here is also Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have another one after this, so I'm just going to go right in order of Anastasia. And this one is the Subculture palette. It's actually my favorite palette from Anastasia, other than the Big Nirvana Volume 1 palette that I showed you earlier. But I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I really enjoy this eyeshadow palette, and it's gotten a lot of use from me. The last Anastasia palette I have is the Nirvana palette, and this palette is gorgeous, and it's definitely got a lot of use for me. I really love my ABH palettes in the formula. I also forgot to mention I got the Subculture palette from TJ Maxx, and I got this one at Sephora. Alright, the next palette I have here starts my Morphe palettes, which I only have, well, I have 3 Morphe palettes, but 2 in this section. I have the Jeffree Star one in my Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes section, but this is the James Charles Morphe palette, and this palette is amazing. Absolutely love the colors in here, and it's a really nice quality Morphe palette. The next Morphe palette that I have is the Jaclyn Hill palette, and this is definitely, out of the 3 Morphe palettes I own, my favorite palette. I absolutely love the formula of this and the colors in this. Like, you can get awesome neutral looks out of this palette with even some pops of color in there. I literally love this palette and the layout and the formula and everything about it. I also keep forgetting to mention where I'm getting palettes from, but the James Charles palette I got from the Morphe website, and the Jaclyn Hill palette I believe I got from either Macari or Poshmark. And whenever I say that I get things like eyeshadow palettes from Macari or Poshmark, I make sure that they were brand new and they weren't used, and I also have to make sure that they are real. And every palette that I've purchased from Macari or Poshmark have been real, and I always make sure before I buy them that they are real. So if you do that with makeup, or eyeshadow palettes, or any kind of makeup from Macari or Poshmark or any of those secondhand places, make sure to check that it's real before you purchase it. You don't want to be buying something fake. And I also recommend buying something that is brand new, so somebody else hasn't used it. So yeah, let's get to this next palette. This is the Mute Beauty palette from Feeble, And I got this on, I think it's Zing or King Beauty. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I got that on their website and I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I'll leave it in the description box below. But the shimmer shades in this palette, oh my gosh, they are so amazing. Like this red right here, oh my gosh, absolutely love it. The mattes are meh, they're okay, you can work with them, but the shimmers, you have to have this palette just for the shimmers, and this palette isn't even that expensive, and it comes with a nice mirror. Hello, there's me. And I just really love this palette for their shimmers. Love it, love it, love it. This next palette is the Marvel Infinity eyeshadow collection by Her Universe from the Hot Topic brand, I believe it is. This palette is so cute. My mom got this for me because she knows I love Marvel. I absolutely love Marvel, if you didn't know that already. This palette is so beautiful, especially that red right here. Love it so much, and it comes with a nice little mirror. Hello, there's me. And I think it's so cute. It's a nice little collector's piece for anyone who likes Marvel and like Infinity War and all that stuff. And I believe she got this on Amazon. I'm not positive, but love this one. The next two palettes I have are from Profusion. I love Profusion's eyeshadow palette formula. Well, I have 3 palettes from Profusion. I'm not getting things right today whatsoever, but I believe that I got this on Macari brand new, and I love Profusion's formula. Like, absolutely love Profusion's formula. It's so good, and as you can see, I've loved that metallic blue shade right here. Oh my gosh, stunning. This is the Festival palette, by the way. I keep forgetting to mention the titles and where I got things from, but this is the Festival palette from Profusion, and I believe that I got it on Macari. This next palette from Profusion is the Sienna's palette, and I got this on sale at Walmart. This is my favorite palette from Profusion, and one of my favorite palettes in my collection. I use this palette all the freaking time. I'm getting a little too hyper, but I absolutely adore this palette. 100%. Like, these are the kind of shades that I go for. I love it. I got it for $8 at Walmart. Heck yeah. This palette here is also from Profusion, and it is my last Profusion palette. I cannot speak today, I'm so sorry. This is the Glam palette, and I believe that I got this at Gabe's. At Gabe's in Morgantown, West Virginia. Like, this is huge pan eyeshadows. Like, look how big those pans are. And the shimmer shades have beautiful pigment to them. Love this 100%. I only got it for $5. Love that. This palette here is the only Lorac palette that I have, and I believe that I got this on Macari as well, brand new, and it's a nice palette. I don't really use it that often, but this is the Mega Pro Volume 2, I believe, by the way. And I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on it from the website, but I got this on Macari, and I don't use it that often, but it's a nice palette. It has a nice mirror. So yeah, that is the Lorac Mega Pro 2. Wow, you guys, I completely forgot an Anastasia palette from this section. This is the Riviera palette. I believe I got this at Sephora. I believe that I did. This palette is so pretty. I absolutely love the foiled shimmer shades in there. I absolutely love it. The only BH Cosmetics palette I have is their collaboration with Sylvia Ganni. When she said she was coming out with the palette with BH Cosmetics. I had to have it. I absolutely love Sylvia Ganny, and I love watching her videos, so I had to have this palette, and this palette's formula is so good. I love it, and it comes with a nice mirror. Hello, there's me. Comes with a nice mirror. Love this palette. Once again, here's me forgetting to tell you where I got this from. I got this from BH Cosmetics website. The next palette your girl has is a palette from Violet Voss, and this is a pro palette, I believe. I don't believe it has an actual name other than that, but I love the layout of this palette, and I think it's so pretty. And it has a nice quality to it. I believe that I got this in a BoxyCharm or a BoxyLux box. If I'm pronouncing that right, I'm sorry if I'm not. But it has a nice little mirror to it. And yeah, I really like this palette. The next palette I have, and the only palette from Natasha Denona that I have, is, I believe this is the Sunrise palette, and I'm struggling, just wait. There we go. This is a Sunrise palette from Natasha Denona. This is one of her, let's say, it's not really cheap, but it's on the cheaper side for her eyeshadow palettes. It was like in the $60 range, and I believe I got this from her website. I couldn't pass a Natasha Denona palette for as cheap as that, so I had to have this, and this is actually a really, really, really nice quality palette. Natasha Denona, this palette is awesome. You should make ones that are the same price, more that are the same price as this, because yes, I love it. The next palette that I have here is from Storybook Cosmetics. It is the Wizardry and Witchcraft palette, and my mom got this for me, and I would think that she got it from their website, but I'm not positive. But I haven't used this palette. I mean, I've swatched it, but I really don't want to use this palette because to me it's more of a collector's piece than it is like to use, if you know what I mean. Like, I love Harry Potter, and I'm just like, this has to be in like perfect condition. I love it. The only Juvia's Place palette that I have is the Warrior 2 palette, and this palette is such good quality. That is literally all I have to say about this. Such good quality. I also got this on Mercari, I believe, but I love it, and it's so nice. This palette here is the only Beauty Bakery palette that I have. It is the Game of Cones palette, and I got this palette for free on their website. I wanted this palette for like a long time because it was kind of like Game of Thronesy, but you know, different, like cakeless men instead of faceless men, and Slay Scale instead of Grayscale, and Iron Cone instead of Iron Throne. Love that so much. I wanted this so bad, and then I saw that you could get it free if you purchased anything else on their website. So what I did is I got the cheapest thing on their website, which was a single shadow, I believe, for like $9 or $11, and I got this for free. So that was 100% worth it, and it comes with a nice mirror, and love this for my Game of Thrones heart. The last eyeshadow palette that is on this shelf, because it wouldn't fit with the rest of my Jeffree Star palettes, and I had to display this palette somehow, so it sits on the front of the shelf instead of like sideways on the shelf, if that makes any sense at all. But this is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. This is the one and only Conspiracy palette from Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. Two of my favorite people, two of my favorite YouTubers. I've been following Shane for so long, and I've been following Jeffree for not as long, but also a long time as well. Like, I needed this. Like, I watched the entire series they did together, and in the process it took, I loved that series so much. And I love Shane Dawson and I love Jeffree. I had to have this. 100% had to have this. And my mom bought me the entire collection off of Jeffree's website for Christmas this past year. Because it only came out this past year, but you get me. But the entire collection, almost the entire collection, not every single thing, but majority of the makeup. I love this. This is one of my favorites in my collection. I can't say it enough. I'm obsessed with it. And I love the quality of it. It screams Shane like it should. Love it. Love it 100%. And the packaging is amazing. I know a lot of people don't like bulky packaging like this, but personally, I love fancy packaging on palettes. Like, to me, the packaging is the make or break deal for me, whether I buy it or not. So, 100% this, love this so much. Alright, you guys, here's the next little shelf of palettes. This shelf, you guys aren't ready for. It holds all of my Urban Decay palettes and every single one of my Too Faced palettes. And I have quite a few. So, let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to start with my Urban Decay palettes. The first Urban Decay palette I have is the Born to Run palette. And I believe that I got this at Sephora because I've wanted this for a long time. And I've heard so many good things about this palette, and it really lived up to its expectations. I really enjoy this palette a lot. And it comes from Urban Decay, and I love Urban Decay. They're one of my favorite brands, along with Too Faced and Jeffree Star and Anastasia and like Laura Lee for eyeshadow palette formula wise. Those are the brands that I tend to go to, and love this. Love this. The next Urban Decay palette that I have is the Naked Ultimate Basics palette. This palette is very, very, very basic. It's very neutral, and I got this at TJ Maxx. It's not a bad palette, but it's not my favorite Urban Decay one either. Love the packaging though. The next Urban Decay palette that I have is the original Naked palette. Whenever I saw that they were discontinuing this palette, I went on Ulta and I bought it straight away, and I got it for like 25 bucks. So I really like this palette and I enjoy its formula. It's really sad that it's not made anymore, but it's a nice palette and I love the fuzzy packaging on it. The last Urban Decay palette that I have, well, it's not really the last Urban Decay palette that I have, because the other Urban Decay palette that I have is sitting displayed, so I'm gonna save that for last, because that is my ultimate like favorite packaging and my favorite thing that I bought in my eyeshadow palette collection. So I'm gonna save that palette for the very, very last. So this one is the last Urban Decay palette on this shelf, and it is the Naked Cherry palette, and this is my favorite quality-wise Urban Decay palette. I love like the ready pinks and stuff, and there's something about this palette I just love, and it smells so good. I bought the entire collection. Yeah, I got this on Urban Decay's website, so I loved it so much. Or was it Target? I actually think I got this at Target. I think it was Target, actually. Alright, you guys, I'm so excited because we are getting into my favorite brand of all time and their eyeshadow palettes. And I have quite a few, so hold on for this, because I got quite a lot. This is a mini palette that I believe that I got as a free sample of the chocolate bar. This is adorable. It comes with their bronzer as well, which is my favorite bronzer like ever. Love this little mini guy. The next one I have is the White Peach palette from Too Faced. This is one of my least favorites. It's not my least favorite because I have another one that holds that title, but it's not as good as the other ones that I have, but I don't mind this palette. I believe that I got this at TJ Maxx. Love the packaging of this. It's so cute. The next Too Faced palette that I have smells like heaven and is so beautiful, especially those two shimmers right here. These are so stunning. Smells so good. It's the pineapple palette. Love the packaging of this, by the way. It's so beautiful. It is the sparkling pineapple eyeshadow palette. Really love this, 100%. So nice. And I believe that I got this on the Too Faced website for not a bad price because I got it with a bundle with some of the other things in the collection. So really love this. The next Too Faced palette that I have is the Life's a Festival palette, and I got this at TJ Maxx also for a good price. I don't even remember. It was like probably like 20. It was like $18 or $20. And I know a lot of people don't like this palette, but I actually do. I think it's so cute, and I love the theme behind it. Alright, you guys, now we are getting into the Too Faced palettes in this style packaging. I have every single Too Faced palette in this style tin packaging. I know, I'm like a collector of them, but I love these palettes. Love them. And how you can see me in there. Hello! This palette is so cute. This is the latest one that I got. My mom actually got this for me for, was it my birthday? Or was it Halloween? I think this was my birthday present. She got this on the Too Faced website because I believe that it might be exclusive to the Too Faced website, but I'm not positive. This packaging is the cutest packaging you'll ever see in your life. Would you look at this? It's adorable. Like, love it so much. The next one here I have is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon palette. I got quite a few of my Too Faced palettes in this style packaging from either Poshmark or Mercari, and like I said before, I made sure they were real before I purchased them, and they weren't used. So this is one of them, the Chocolate Bonbon palette, and this is one of my least used Too Faced palettes, but I love it and I love the packaging. Sticking in line with palettes that I got from either Mercari or Poshmark, this is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, the original chocolate bar palette, and I love this palette. It's a nice neutral palette for everyday looks. And I absolutely love the smell of these palettes. They smell like chocolate and it's like heaven. Love that. The next Too Faced chocolate bar palette that I have is the White Chocolate Bar palette, and I honestly don't even know where I got this from. I've had this for so long that I don't even remember where I got this from. I think this was my first Too Faced palette other than maybe the Chocolate Gold palette. Yikes, I really don't remember. But this is my least favorite Too Faced palette. It's just, I can't really work with the shades very well, but it's a nice little collector's thing to have because I have all of the Too Faced palettes in this collection, this style packaging, and they don't make this palette anymore, so I like that I have this. The next and final Too Faced palette that I got from Poshmark or Mercari, I mean I have 4 other Too Faced palettes here, but this is the last one that I got from either Poshmark or Mercari. And this is a semi-sweet chocolate bar. Another more neutral, smoky tone palette. The next 4 Too Faced palettes I have are some of my favorite palettes in my collection. And this one here is the Chocolate Gold palette. I believe this is the first Too Faced palette that I purchased. And I believe that I got this at Sephora. I love this palette. The shimmers are like heaven, and it's just, I'm obsessed with this palette. This is the chocolate gold palette. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful, and the packaging is like everything in the entire world. This next Too Faced palette that I have is the gingerbread palette, and I believe that I bought this on Too Faced's website. Yes. And this palette smells so good. It smells like gingerbread. I love it. Love the colors in this. This is like my go-to colors. And the packaging is just so cute. Look at the little gingerbread man. Look at him. Look at him. Would you look at him? The next palette that I have is, of course, the sister to the gingerbread palette. This is the gingerbread extra spicy palette. And my mom got this palette for me for a Halloween present while I was in college, I believe. She got this on the Too Faced website. And I personally like this palette better than the gingerbread palette, although I do love the gingerbread palette. The extra spicy palette just wins in my mind. Love those colors. Love the packaging. So cute. So cute. And last but not least, for my Too Faced eyeshadow palettes, my favorite palette of Too Faced and of all time. Or at least one of my top 3 of all time, but probably my favorite of all time. This palette is one that I wanted for so long, and I was so happy whenever I finally walked into Sephora and purchased this palette. This is one of my most used palettes, and I honestly think it's the best smelling Too Faced palette. Like, I'm absolutely obsessed with this Sweet Peach palette by Too Faced. I can smell it from here, and it smells so good. I love it. Absolutely adore this palette, 100%. Next section on my shelves, let's get to it. The next palette is the Fetish palette by Kat Von D. I got this on sale at Sephora. I'm not really going to talk about this palette much, but it's a decent quality palette. Another palette that I'm not really going to talk much about, this is the Kat Von D Shade to Light palette. I got this at TJ Maxx. This palette is by the brand, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Handana, not sure. This is the Blue Ocean palette, but the shimmer shades in this palette are so nice, and I believe that I got this palette from that website that I talked about earlier, King Beauty or something like that. I love the shimmers in this palette. Very nice. This palette here is the Exotic Customs palette from the same brand that the last palette was from. And the quality of this, I'm really not sure because I've only swatched it, and the shimmer shades weren't bad, but it's also from that website that I can't pronounce, King Beauty, something like that. But this is the Exotic Customs palette. This palette here is called the Hidden Gems palette. It's also from a brand that I cannot pronounce, and from that website that I cannot pronounce. So yeah, this is the Hidden Gems palette, and I haven't used this palette yet, so I can't tell you if it's good or not. Moving right along to another palette from that website I can't pronounce. This is from Feeble. This is the Tease Me palette, and I can tell you though, I have tried this palette and I love it. Especially the shimmer shades in that top row, and this one right here, like all of these. Oh my gosh, those are the prettiest shimmer shades you will ever see in like any palette. You need to get this just for the shimmer shades. Like, it's stunning. And this palette wasn't expensive like at all, so make sure you find this and get it. This palette is from Crown, I believe, and I got this in a BoxyCharm. Love the colors in this palette. It's really nice. Yeah, Crown Pro. And I really do like this palette. The next brand I'm going to be doing is Laura Lee. I only have 2 brands left from the shelf, and it is Laura Lee Los Angeles and Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And so I'm going to be doing Laura Lee next, and I have every single one of Laura Lee's eyeshadow palettes, and I really love Laura Lee's formula on her eyeshadow palettes, and like her products in general. They are very good, and she has one of my favorite brands. So this one is the Party Animal palette. This is probably my least favorite palette out of all of her palettes. It doesn't speak to me as much as the others, but I still like to have it in my collection. This Laura Lee Los Angeles palette is the Sleigh Bell palette, and this is so cute. I got this for Christmas, not this past year, but the year before, I believe, and I got the entire collection, and I got her autograph in it, and I thought that was so cool. And I forgot to mention that all these products are from her website. So if you want to get her products, I think that's the only place you can get her products from. I'm not positive. I'll have to check into that, but this palette is so cute. Love it. The next palette of Laura's is one of my favorite palettes of her, and definitely my favorite smaller palette from her. This is the Boss Babe palette. Every time I go traveling, I take this with me because it's just perfect. That's all I have to say about this. It's just 100% perfect, and it's been used quite a lot. This Laura Lee palette is my favorite palette of hers, and in my top 3 palettes of all time, like in my collection. I adore this palette. It's one of my most used. You probably really can't tell because I have quite a few palettes that I use, but it's one of my most used. I adore this palette. The formula is stunning. I love, love, love this palette. This is the Cat's Pajamas palette, by the way. Love the packaging on it, too. The next palette here is the Nudie Patootie palette by Laura Lee Los Angeles. And this palette is so cute. I haven't really used this very much, but I know a lot of people do like this palette. And I know it's good quality because I've seen so many reviews on it. But I haven't really used this palette that much, but it's so cute and I really adore this. I got this palette on a sale on Laura Lee's website. Be checking at her website often because she does sales like 50% off like all the time, or even like 25% or something, like all the time. And I believe that I got this palette like in the $20 range, and that makes me really happy because love Laura Lee Los Angeles and the formula in her palettes. This one here is excuse me, I cannot speak today, a Z palette from Laura Lee, and it has all of her single shadows in it, which I spent a lot of money on for this entire thing. But it also has, I believe, a ColourPop one in here somewhere, and this is from Juvia's Place, I believe. So it has a few extra things in here because I didn't know where to put them. But this is Laura Lee Z palette with her single shadows. And the very last Laura Lee palette I have is her collab with Violet Voss. Now this palette is quite old, and I think I got this on Macari. I'm not positive, but I think so. This palette has been around for a while, and I still love it though. Still very nice palette. It has a nice mirror in it, and there's the front. Now we are moving into another one of my favorite brands, and that is Jeffree Star. Love Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Love Jeffree Star. I have quite a few of his palettes. I don't have all of them. I would like to have all of them, especially the new Bloodlust palette he came out with. I want that one so bad, but hopefully I'll get that sometime. But this one here is the Mini Breaker palette, I believe. Yes, this is the Mini Breaker palette. I bought this from his website in a bundle with the Jawbreaker palette. This is just so cute. There's not really much else I have to say about that. I love the Jawbreaker theme of the front of it. This one here is, of course, the Mini Controversy palette that Shane and Jeffree collabed together. This is so cute. Like I said earlier, I have the, like, almost the entire collection of the Conspiracy collection. Like, I just adore this entire thing so much. It has a nice little mirror to it. Love the front packaging of that. I love, like, the staticky look to it. Now for my favorite Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette, and in my top 3 of all time palette wise, this is the Blood Sugar palette. She is a very iconic palette, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that. She's just iconic, as Jeffree would say. Love the theme to this, by the way. So nice. The medical theme, love that so much. And the packaging, yes queen, yes. The next beauty that I have is the Jawbreaker palette. This palette is, like, a nice, like, kind of rainbow palette. Like, you can create so many looks with this palette. I wouldn't even know where to begin, because you can create so many things with it. If that made any sense, what I just said, probably not. But it has a nice big mirror to it. Really like this one. I keep forgetting to mention that I got all of Jeffree's palettes on his website. I know he has quite a few places where you can get his palettes from, so make sure to check his website for the other places that you can get his palettes from. But without further ado, this one is definitely my favorite packaging out of everything that he's done. This is the Alien palette, and I love, like, dark, kind of like grungy look to this. This is my first ever Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette, and my mom got this for me for Christmas one year, and I was so happy when I opened it up. Like, I'm obsessed. Absolutely obsessed with this. I just adore the packaging. Would you look at that? That's amazing. I love that so much. And the last Jeffree Star palette that I have is his collab with Morphe. I've swatched all the shades in here, but I haven't gotten to use it yet, but I am really looking forward to. It's very nice layout. Hopefully it lives up to my expectations. Alright, you guys, we are in the final stages of my palette collection. We are in the last section of the shelving area, and then we will be done. So let's get to it. I'm going to try to go through these palettes a little bit faster than I was doing. This is the Queen Supreme palette from MAC. Yes, and I got this at TJ Maxx. These next 4 palettes that I have are all from that same website that I cannot pronounce. And this is from the brand You Can Be. This is a dupe for an Urban Decay palette, I believe. And this is stunning. The shimmers in here are beautiful. And this is called the Mask palette. This one here is also from You Can Be, and it's a very nice layout. And it is called the Dreamland palette. Also from the brand You Can Be, this is the Twilight and Dusk palette. This is a dupe for a Huda Beauty palette, and really love the layout of this. It was very cheap on that website that I cannot pronounce. This is the Aromas palette by You Can Be, and this is also a dupe for a Huda Beauty palette. This palette here, I absolutely loved. I have never used this palette because it's more of a collector's thing for me. I got the entire collection of this from Ulta Beauty. It's the Avengers Endgame Ulta Beauty collab. I have all the other stuff from the collection. Well, I have one makeup bag and the rest of the makeup, but this is the eyeshadow palette, and I haven't used this, like I said, because it is a collector's purpose, because I absolutely love the MCU and the Avengers. This palette is from Ace Beauté. I think it's called the Grandiose. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. The Grandiose palette or something. I got this in a BoxyCharm. Here is the Pac-Man Wet n Wild collab collection, and I think this is so cute. I had to have the entire Pac-Man collection from Wet n Wild. The last Wet n Wild palette, I forgot to mention, I got from Wet n Wild's website. And this here is the only Milani palette that I have. It is the Soft and Sultry palette, and I got this from CVS. This is a Degafo, I believe, if that's how you pronounce that name, I'm not sure, palette. This is also from that same website that I cannot pronounce the name of. And this palette is so stunning. Love the shimmers in here. The only palette I have from The Balm, I got at Ross, I believe, and this is the Meet Matte Adore palette. The next 5 palettes that I have are from the brand Bad Habit, and I got all of these palettes on the Shop Hush app, which is no longer available, I don't believe. So these are the palettes that I got from there. This is the Aphrodite palette, which is stunning. This is the Athena palette, which is also stunning, and it is my favorite palette from Bad Habit and one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It is very well used, as you can see. This is a stunning palette called Afterglow from Bad Habit. This one here is called After Hours, and you can see that the Bad Habit palettes are very well used. And the last one, and my least used one from Bad Habit, is the After Dark palette. The next 3 palettes are all from Makeup Revolution. This one is so cute. I believe I picked this one here up at a TJ Maxx. Love the packaging of this. It kind of reminds me of Too Faced, and this also smells very good. This one is called the Pink Fizz palette by Makeup Revolution. My favorite Makeup Revolution palette, and one of my favorite palettes, I love this shimmer selection here. Stunning, they're beautiful. This is the Foil Frenzy palette from Makeup Revolution. I got that last palette, I keep forgetting to mention, I got that last palette at, I believe I might have got it at a Marshall's, not sure though. But this palette here is Makeup Revolution, a collaboration with Soph. I love her. I love her channel so much. I love watching her videos. I saw this at my local TJ Maxx, and I knew I had to have it. It came with some other things, I believe, but this is a palette with Soph. This is the face and eyeshadow palette. This palette here is from Physicians Formula. My mom bought this for me off their website for Christmas this past year. This is their like ultimate butter collection. It has bronzers, highlighters, a mirror, hello there's me, lipsticks, blush, and eyeshadows in it. So I thought I would include this because I have it on my shelves and it has eyeshadows in it. So there is this from Physicians Formula. And you would think that something like this would be kind of like corny and cheesy and not very good. But this is actually very, very good. Like, I enjoy this and I highly recommend this. Alright you guys, my last brand of eyeshadow palettes that I have, except for the final one that I want to show you from Urban Decay, which I'm going to end this video with. The final brand that I have is ColourPop, and I have 4 ColourPop eyeshadow palettes, and I'm going to be having a 5th because I bought the Mulan ColourPop palette, and you might have seen this video already, you might not have, but I'm going to upload a testing that collection video with the Mulan collection once I get that in the mail. So yeah, this one here is the Zoella ColourPop collab. This palette is so cute. It's very nice and neutral with like that little pop of blue down there. Love this palette. I also love Zoella. This is called the Brunch Date palette, by the way, and I got all of these palettes except for one of them off the website. The Misunderstood eyeshadow palette from ColourPop is my favorite ColourPop eyeshadow palette. Love this. I wanted this for so long, so bad, and I couldn't find it anywhere that I went, and finally I found it at Ulta, and I made sure I picked this up. It's so beautiful, and I just look at the packaging. Stunning, stunning, stunning. The next ColourPop palette I have is another collab, and it is with the legend Kathleen Lights. I love Kathleen. I love her channel. She's such a sweet human. And I love this palette. It is so stunning, and I had to have this whenever I knew she was doing a Zodiac collection with ColourPop, because I love all things like Zodiac signs, and this is so cute. Like the packaging, would you look at that? Love it. And the last ColourPop palette that I have, and the very last one on my shelves. This took me forever to do. I've been doing this for like 2 hours, you guys. My throat is sore from talking so much. But this is the Salvaje palette from ColourPop and Becky G. Becky G is so sweet. I adore her, and I love her music so much. Whenever she announced she was doing a collab with ColourPop, I was like right on that website and bought it right away. I bought the entire collection. I'm obsessed with this, 100%. Like the packaging, ColourPop knows what they're doing with formula and packaging and all of the above. Just love them. And last but not least, the grand finale of my eyeshadow palettes. The best packaging I've ever seen in my life, 100%, goes to the Game of Thrones Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. Like this is my entire world right here. Would you look at this? This is so beautiful. I 100% love this. I had to have it whenever I saw Game of Thrones and Urban Decay were collabing. I needed this. I bought the entire collection with like the PR package and everything. Like, love this. And just wait until you see the inside if you haven't seen it already. Before I show you the best part of the palette, I'm going to show you the actual eyeshadow itself. The eyeshadows are really pretty and they are good quality, but I don't tend to reach for this that much, being that it's more of like a collector's thing for me. But I do like the shadows in this palette. Alright you guys, the best part of this palette and what makes it so special is this part here. I love the mirror, nice big mirror, but it has this nice quote from Daenerys Targaryen from the show, and if you pull this up, you get the Iron Throne. I love that. And a nice little quote down there from Tyrion Lannister. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I 100% love that. I wish I could like prop this up somehow and make this stand, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But I adore that eyeshadow palette so much. It's literally the best thing, the best purchase I've ever made in my life, I would have to say. Other than my meet and greet with Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, but I love this palette. It's beautiful. Alright you guys, that is it for my eyeshadow palette collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took me like forever to film, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to comment your favorite eyeshadow palette in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!